After much thought about the need for public transparency in this case, I have concluded that the best course of action is for me to make this decision, fully explain it, and be directly accountable to the public. After spending the past 19 weeks immersed in the facts and law and thinking about what justice requires in this case, my conscience tells me it would be wrong for me to ask a grand jury to make this decision when I know in my heart what needs to be done. I know my decision will be difficult for some in our community to accept, but in order to achieve justice, we must be willing to do the right thing, no matter how hard it may seem. Today, I am prepared to announce my decision as to whether Officer Geronimo Yanez's use of deadly force on July 6 was justified and whether criminal charges are warranted. Before I do that, I want to thank a number of people who played an integral role in reaching my decision. First, I want to thank the BCA Superintendent, Drew Evans, and his staff for making this investigation a top priority, conducting it in a professional manner, and providing it to our office without recommendation. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to my prosecution team that worked with the BCA and helped me reach this decision. They are all here standing behind me: John Kelly, Rick Dusterhoff, Jill Gerber, Clayton Robinson, and Special Prosecutor Don Lewis. I cannot express enough my appreciation for their contributions to this process and their dedication to justice. As you may recall, on July 7th, the United States Department of Justice publicly stated that it would monitor the BCA investigation and would be available to provide assistance. On July 27th, I made a request for assistance to the Department of Justice through our local United States Attorney on a number of technical issues associated with the investigation and anticipated prosecution review. Since that time, the local United States Attorney's Office and FBI have been assisting us with this case. I want to thank both United States Attorney Andy Luger and FBI Special Agent in Charge Rick Thornton, who are also here today, for their partnership and investment in our efforts. Under Minnesota law, the use of deadly force by a police officer is justified only when necessary to protect the officer or another from apparent death or great bodily harm. In addition, the United States Supreme Court has repeatedly made it clear that a police officer's use of deadly force must be evaluated in the context of what a reasonable police officer would do in the same situation, given the danger and stress of police work. When evaluating the reasonableness of a police officer's use of deadly force, we must take into account that police officers are often required to react quickly in tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving situations. To justify the use of deadly force, it is not enough, however, for the police officer to merely express a subjective fear of death or great bodily harm. Unreasonable fear cannot justify the use of deadly force. The use of deadly force must be objectively reasonable and necessary given the totality of the circumstances. Based upon our thorough and exhaustive review of the facts of this case, it is my conclusion that the use of deadly force by Officer Yanez was not justified, and that sufficient facts exist to prove this to be true. Accordingly, we filed a criminal complaint this morning in Ramsey County District Court charging Officer Yanez with second-degree manslaughter in the death of Philando Castile and 2 felony counts of dangerous discharge of a firearm that endangered the safety of Diamond Reynolds and her 4-year-old daughter, the 2 passengers in the car. The complaint will be on our website and available to the public upon the conclusion of my remarks.